Don't spend that bicentennial dollar just yet because it might be worth up to $475,000. Yes, you heard that right. Some of the coins minted in 1976 to celebrate America's 200th birthday are hiding jaw-dropping secrets, and they could be sitting quietly in your coin jar right now. In this video, we're revealing the top 5 most ultra-rare and insanely valuable bicentennial dollar coins that are blowing the minds of collectors across the world. These aren't your average coins, these are rare errors, off-metal strikes, and ultra-scarce varieties that have sold for massive money at auction. Stop what you're doing and check your pocket change, because hiding inside an ordinary-looking 1965 Washington quarter could be a life-changing. But here's the twist. Not every 1965 quarter is valuable, only the rare error varieties that slip through the cracks of the U.S. Mint's transition era. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare 1965-era Washington quarters. The year 1965 was one of the most critical turning points in U.S. coinage history. Following the coin shortage crisis of the early 1960s and a rising demand for silver, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, officially ending the use of 90% silver in dimes and quarters. Instead, the U.S. Mint began producing coins with a new composition, a copper core clad with a nickel layer to save on precious metal costs. Here's why that matters. Coins from 1964 and earlier were made of valuable silver. But in 1965, the Mint began using base metals, making that year's coins visually identical to their silver counterparts, but very different in composition. The rare silver planchette error. When the U.S. Mint transitioned to clad coinage, a few 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover 90% silver plankets from 1964. These rare quarters look almost identical to regular clad ones, but under closer inspection, they lack the copper edge visible on clad coins and weigh slightly more. Auction records and value. Some of these silver 1965 errors have sold for incredible sums: $35,000, $66,500 at major auctions like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. One pristine example even sold for $80,000 to $995, depending on condition, weight, and grading. High-grade double dies can fetch $500 to $3,000, depending on the strength and location of the doubling. A 40% or more off-center, especially showing the full date, can sell for $1,000 or more. These eye-catching errors range from $100 to $750, especially in uncirculated condition. $100 to $500, depending on the size and placement of the clip. Transitional errors. Struck on wrong plankets. These transitional errors are extremely rare and valuable. Value to $1,000 to over $10,000, depending on the blank used. How to identify a rare 1965 quarter error. Check the edge. A silver planchette coin will have a uniform silver edge, not the typical copper core. Weigh the coin. Silver quarter, 6.25 grams. Clad quarter, 5.67 grams. Use a precise digital scale for best accuracy. Magnify the details. Use a jeweler's loupe or microscope to look for doubling on letters. Off-center strikes. Misaligned dies. Inspect the shape. Broad-struck or clipped coins look irregular or stretched. Get a second opinion. If you suspect your coin is rare, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading and authentication. We're talking about the 20 to 1D Washington quarter, crossing the Delaware, and the rare error varieties that have stunned collectors, exploded at auctions, and shocked everyday people who unknowingly had a fortune in their pockets. After the conclusion of the 50-state quarters and America the Beautiful series in 2020, the U.S. Mint introduced a one-year-only quarter design in 2021 known as the 2021 Washington Quarter, crossing the Delaware. This coin marks a return to a more traditional, heroic image of George Washington, shown commanding his troops across the Delaware River during the Revolutionary War. But while the design was impressive, what came next was even more shocking: a string of dramatic minting errors, especially at the Denver Mint, that gave birth to some of the most valuable modern quarters ever struck. Die clash error. Coins with strong, full die clashes in high grades have been auctioned for $7,500 to $20,720, depending on rarity and condition. Retained cut plus die break. Collectors pay big for these bold errors, and several MS66 Plus cut error coins have sold for $25,000 to $39,170 at premium auctions. Struck through errors fabric, wire and grease, minor strike-throughs, $100, $500. Major, dramatic examples, $10,000 to $15,000 plus. Double die obverse DDO and reverse. Early confirmed examples have sold for $1,000 to $100 to $8,000 plus, and prices continue to climb. Off-center and broad-struck. Off-center with full date. $5,000, $12,000. Broad-struck examples with full rims, $3,000, $8,500. How to identify rare 2.0 to 1D quarter errors. Step-by-step error detection. Look under magnification. Use a jeweler's loupe or digital microscope. Search for die clashes, ghost impressions, or doubling. Check the edges. Retained cuts and off-center errors usually affect the rim. Look for weak or missing details. Struck through grease can cause entire areas to disappear. Inspect for alignment. If the design is off-center, broad, or has wide rims, it may be a striking error. Use a precision scale. Correct weight, approximately 5.67 grams. Wild deviations could point to foreign planchette or minting anomalies. Get it graded and authenticated. Use PCGS or NGC to confirm, grade, and document your find. We're uncovering the secret world of the 1976 error Bicentennial quarter, a coin minted to celebrate America's 100th birthday, but in some cases, minted with shocking mistakes that turned them into numismatic legends. The United States Bicentennial in 1976 marked 100 years of American independence. And to celebrate, the U.S. Mint did something historic. They redesigned the reverse of the Washington quarter, a coin that had featured the same design since 1932. Let's dive into the most valuable error varieties of the 1976 Bicentennial quarter, some worth more than $133,470, depending on rarity and condition. Off-metal error struck on silver or foreign plankets. These off-metal errors are extremely rare and can command between $33,000 and $99,320 plus, depending on type and condition. Double-struck Bicentennial quarter. If the error is bold and in mint state, prices can go from $3,000 to over $20,000, and in extremely rare, dramatic cases up to $45,000 plus. Struck on a nickel planchette, these errors are so unusual that some have sold for $12,000 to $25,000, especially when graded by PCGS or NGC in MS65 or higher. Broad-struck or off-center Bicentennial quarters. Depending on how off-center or distorted the coin is, prices range from $500 to $3,500, but dramatic errors can go above $10,000. Double die obverse DDO and reverse DDR. Authentic, high-grade DDO. DDR Bicentennial quarters can be worth $3,000 to $15,000 or more, especially when slabbed in MS66 Plus or PR69 DCAM. How to identify these error coins at home? So, how do you know if you've struck it rich with a rare 1976 quarter? Regular quarter, 5.67 grams. Silver quarter, 6.25 grams. Nickel or dime planchette, 4 to 5 grams. Check for doubling, ghost images, or distorted letters. A silver error will have no copper stripe on the edge. Color, shape, and thickness variations are telltale signs. Certification increases both credibility and value. In the last few years, posts on Reddit, TikTok, and Facebook coin groups have gone viral showing a silver Bicentennial quarter found in a yard sale box. A double die error discovered in a kid's coin jar. An off-center Bicentennial quarter pulled from a bankroll. These real finds remind us the next $155,750 quarter could be sitting in your change tray right now. That shiny 1976 Bicentennial Kennedy $50 tucked away in a drawer, piggy bank, or pocket change could be worth not just 50 cents. This isn't a fantasy. These are real coins with rare U.S. Mint errors selling for tens of thousands at auction right now. To celebrate 100 years of American independence, the U.S. Mint introduced special bicentennial designs in 1975, 1976 for 3 denominations: quarter Washington with a drummer boy, $50 Kennedy with Independence Hall, dollar Eisenhower with the Liberty Bell and Moon. Hundreds of millions were struck, but hidden among them are extremely rare mint errors that are now worth thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. Let's explore the top rare error types that turn a bicentennial Kennedy $50 into a gold mine. Struck on wrong planchette. A 1976 Kennedy $50 struck on the wrong planchette in mint condition has sold for $55,110 to $80,000 for $100, depending on the error type and grade. Double struck and off-center. Partial double strikes, $3,500, $10,000. Major off-center plus double strike, $25,000, $30,000 plus. Die cap error, normal die cap, $5,000 to $15,000, bicentennial die cap in high grade, $25,000 plus. Struck through foreign object, light grease errors, $500 to $1,000, struck through wire, metal, $7,500, $20,000. Double die obverse DDO, strong DDO, DDR in MS66 plus or silver, $12,000 to $18,500, moderate DDO, to $1,000, $6,000. How to identify these rare errors? Think you might have one of these coins? Here's your action plan. Digital scale accurate to 0.01 grams. Magnifying loupe or digital microscope. Bright lighting. Reference coin for comparison. A teacher in Ohio found a misstruck bicentennial $50 in a student's lunch payment. It later sold for $26,000 after being slabbed MS64. An elderly man in Arizona found a silver planchette error in his coin collection. His grandson helped sell it for $58,000 at auction. A teenager on TikTok went viral showing a die clash Kennedy half they bought in a $20 junk lot auction for $14,700. Stop scrolling and grab your change jar, because hidden in your collection could be a 1976 bicentennial Eisenhower dollar coin worth not just $1. You heard that right. One of America's most patriotic coins, minted to celebrate the nation's 200th birthday, has extremely rare error versions that are selling for jaw-dropping amounts at major auctions. To honor America's 200th anniversary of independence in 1976, the U.S. Mint issued special bicentennial coinage for quarters, $50, and for the first time ever the Eisenhower dollar. More than 200 million Eisenhower bicentennial dollars were minted. But among them, a tiny handful were struck with extraordinary mistakes. Let's explore the most valuable error varieties of the 1976 bicentennial Eisenhower dollar coin. These are the ones that have stunned collectors, made headlines, and turned pocket change into luxury car money. Wrong planchette errors. Rare wrong planchette $8 dollars have sold at auctions for $75,000 to $110,000, especially in MS65 plus condition, or with dramatic metal mismatches. Double struck or off-center bicentennial Ikes. Mild double strikes, $1,000 a $3,500, off-center 15% to 40%. $5,000 a $12,000, extreme double strikes in silver, $20,000, $45,000. Silver-clad planchette in wrong mint Denver or Philadelphia. Authenticated examples can fetch between $35,000 and $90,000 to $1,000, especially in uncirculated or proof-like grades. Die clash errors. Liberty Bell over Eisenhower's face. Dramatic die clash errors sell for $5,000 to $15,000, with the highest going to coins in MS66 or proof versions. Double die obverse DDO or reverse DDR. Light doubling, $800 to $2,000. Strong, visible doubling in MS65 plus, $7,500 to $18,000. How to identify rare Eisenhower error dollars? So, how do you know if you're holding a six-figure mistake? Here's a simple step-by-step checklist. Regular clad dollar, 22.68 grams. Silver planchette, 24.59 grams. Wrong planchette, may weigh far less or more. Look for copper band on edge. Silver errors will have a solid silver edge. Liberty, in God we trust, and e pluribus unum. Look for doubling or clash marks. The rim should be even. Large gaps or off-printing suggest an error. Silver coins have a distinct ringing tone when dropped on a surface, unlike copper-clad coins. Have the coin graded and authenticated to confirm its error and maximize value? A Colorado woman found a 1976S proof error in her grandfather's drawer, sold it for $46,000. A 13-year-old collector discovered a wrong planchette, Bicentennial dollar, at a coin show graded Ms. 65 and sold for $79,000. An eBay seller listed what he thought was a damaged coin. Turned out to be a major die clash error worth $14,500.